Ever wondered how a tiny enclave in Manhattan connects to the jagged peaks of Mount Titano or the labyrinthine borders of the Caucasus? Join us as we unravel mind-blowing geography secrets, from Italy's boot-heel twist to Bhutan's sky-high zones, Kazakhstan's vanishing seas, and the political firestorms where Zimbabwe meets its neighbors.
What if an entire country could fit inside a single city block? Meet Nauru, one of the smallest island nations in the Pacific Ocean. Nauru covers just 8.1 square miles, that's roughly the size of a Manhattan city block. It's so small, you could walk across the entire country in under an hour. Nauru is one of the few countries in the world that's smaller than a single city block, and it's completely surrounded by ocean. Despite its tiny size, Nauru has one of the most unique histories in the world, once the richest country per capita due to phosphate mining. And here's the kicker, if you laid Nauru on top of Manhattan, it would fit within just a few city blocks. Now you're thinking, what's the tiniest country in your world? Comment below. What if a country shared a 39-kilometer border with another, but had no bridges connecting them? That's exactly what happens in San Marino, a tiny landlocked country completely surrounded by Italy. Despite sharing a 39-kilometer border with Italy, there are no road or rail bridges connecting the two countries. Travelers must use one of 24 border gates to enter or exit the country, no driving across, no walking a bridge. And here's the kicker, San Marino is landlocked, yet it has no bridges to Italy at all. If you drove the entire 39-kilometer border, it would take approximately 45 minutes to an hour, depending on traffic and road conditions, but you'd never cross a bridge. So, what's the weirdest geography fact about your country? Did you know there's a country entirely surrounded by Italy, and visible from a mountain? San Marino is just 24 square miles in size, smaller than a single American county. It shares borders with only one country, Italy, and has no coastline, rivers, or lakes. The entire nation is visible from the top of Mount Titano, which rises 2,425 feet above sea level. Despite being surrounded by Italy, San Marino has never been invaded and has remained independent for over 700 years. It's so small, you could drive across it in under 20 minutes, and it's still a full-fledged country. What's the tiniest country you've ever heard of? Comment below, and don't forget to like. Bhutan has 3 time zones, but you won't find a single public clock in the entire country. That's right, Bhutan is the only country in the world with 3 official time zones, ranging from UTC plus 5:30 to UTC plus 6:30. This is because of Bhutan's extreme geography. The country spans over 200 miles from north to south, through dramatic elevation changes. But despite having 3 time zones, the Bhutanese don't rely on clocks, they use the sun and the rhythm of daily life. In fact, you won't find a single public clock in Bhutan. Time is measured by the rising sun and the sound of monastic chants. Bhutan's total area is approximately 12,000 square miles, about the size of Maryland and West Virginia combined. So next time you look at a world map, remember, the only country with 3 time zones but no clocks is Bhutan. What's your country's most surprising geography fact? Did you know Kazakhstan once had a sea bigger than France? 20,000 years ago, the Aral Sea covered over 26,000 square miles, about the size of West Virginia. Fed by the Amu Doria and Syr Doria rivers, it supported over 20 species of fish and was a vital ecosystem. But by the year 2000, the sea had shrunk by approximately 80%, mostly due to Soviet irrigation projects. Today, the Aral Sea is split into 2 small lakes, but satellite images still reveal the ancient ocean bed's ghostly shape. Kazakhstan is now the world's largest landlocked country, bigger than Texas and California combined, with no access to the sea. What other hidden secrets does your country hold? Comment below. Did you know there's one spot on Earth where 4 countries meet, and it's the only one in the world? This unique quadrupoint is where Botswana, Namibia, Zambia, and Zimbabwe all meet, and it's one of the few of its kind. There are over 175 places in the world where 3 countries meet, but this is the only one where 4 do. This quadrupoint is located near the Chobe River, in northern Botswana, a region rich in wildlife and history. Imagine standing in one spot and touching 4 different national flags at once, and no other place on Earth allows that. This rare border meeting is the result of colonial history and natural geography, a perfect storm of human and environmental factors. Where else in the world could you stand in one place and be in 4 different countries at once? Comment below. Did you know a border drawn in 1893 remains a source of tension today? This is the Durand Line, a 1,600-mile border between Afghanistan and Pakistan. But here's the twist: Afghanistan never officially recognized this border. Drawn by British colonial powers in 1893, it was meant to divide Pashtun lands between British India and Afghanistan. Today, approximately 11 million Pashtuns live on the Pakistani side. The border remains one of the most disputed in the world, with no official recognition from Afghanistan. And scientists still can't explain why it's so hard to resolve. It's a border that time forgot. What if a river carved a canyon deeper than the Grand Canyon, and you've never heard of it? Welcome to the Lizhinka River Valley in Azerbaijan, one of the deepest gorges in the entire Caucasus region. This natural wonder plunges over 1,000 feet into the earth, nearly twice the depth of the Grand Canyon at its deepest point. Despite its staggering depth, the Lizhinka River Valley is approximately 20 miles long, a tiny sliver of earth that hides a massive secret. And here's what's even more surprising: this incredible gorge remains largely untouched and unknown to the world outside Azerbaijan. If you were to drive from one end of the Lizhinka River Valley to the other, it would take just 30 minutes, but the drop is nearly twice the Grand Canyon's. Azerbaijan is full of hidden wonders, but how many other secrets are hiding in plain sight in your own country? Did you know you can see 2 borders from a single plane window in Chile? Chile stretches over 2,653 miles from north to south, longer than the width of the United States from east to west. But at its narrowest point, it's less than 10 miles wide, about the distance between New York City and Boston. This extreme shape means you can see both the Peruvian and Argentinian borders from a single aerial view. From a flight path near the Atacama Desert, you can literally see both the northern and southern borders of Chile at the same time. If you drove the length of Chile, it would take over 30 hours. That's like driving from New York to Los Angeles non-stop. And scientists still can't explain why anyone would design a country like that, naturally, of course. The Philippines has over 4,000 islands, but only around 2,000 are home to people. That's right, out of around 7,500 islands, about 2,000 are inhabited. The largest island, Luzon, holds nearly 40% of the country's population, that's over 50 million people. But over 3,000 islands remain uninhabited, many too small or remote for permanent settlement. Some of these islands have never been mapped in detail. Imagine discovering a new island in the 21st century. The Philippines is slightly smaller than the United Kingdom, and still, much of it remains unexplored. What other hidden geography secrets does your country hold? Did you know a border snakes in and out of a lake over 20 times? Welcome to the Russian-Finnish border near Lake Onega. It zigzags around the lake with 26 sharp turns. This twisty border is just 20 miles long but covers over 50 miles of shoreline. The border was designed to divide the lake into nearly equal halves between the 2 countries. You can walk along the lake and cross borders back and forth without leaving the water's edge. That's right, you could walk for miles and cross the border more than a dozen times. What's the weirdest geography fact in your country? Did you know a highway cuts straight through one of Europe's most beautiful national parks? Welcome to Plitvice Lakes National Park, home to 16 cascading lakes and waterfalls in a stunning natural setting. But here's the twist: the A1 highway, which connects Zagreb to Split, slices right through the park, separating its northern and southern sections. The park covers approximately 114 square miles of protected wilderness, making it one of the largest in Croatia. Despite the highway running through it, the park remains a UNESCO World Heritage Site and one of the most visited in Europe. And the park is slightly smaller than the entire country of Luxembourg. And scientists still can't explain how the lakes formed or why they look like something from a dream. What if I told you there's a train track so straight, it stretches nearly 300 miles without a single curve? This incredible straight line runs across the Nullarbor Plain in Australia, one of the longest straight railway tracks in the world. The track spans nearly 300 miles, that's nearly a third of the distance from New York to Miami, all in a straight line. The Nullarbor Plain is so flat and featureless that engineers could build the track in a straight line without needing expensive curves or markers. Trains can travel at speeds up to 70 miles per hour along this straight path, faster than most highways. And here's the kicker, the straight line was built this way not for speed, but to save money in a land with no natural landmarks to guide construction. What other wild geography facts does your country hide? Comment below. Did you know Bolivia used to have a coastline longer than 30 miles? Until 1904, Bolivia was a Pacific Ocean coastal nation, with a border that stretched for hundreds of miles along the coast of South America. But after a war with Chile, Bolivia lost its coastline in a 1904 treaty, and has been landlocked ever since. Despite this, Bolivia still has one of the world's highest navigable lakes, Lake Titicaca, sitting at approximately 13,600 feet above sea level. And here's the kicker, Bolivia is the only landlocked country in the world that still maintains a navy. That's right, Bolivia has a navy, even though it hasn't had a coastline for over a century. What's the weirdest geography fact about your country? Let us know in the comments. Did you know there's a town in Moldova that's surrounded by Ukraine, and another village inside it that's part of Romania? This is Bhutan, a town in Moldova that is completely encircled by Ukraine, and inside it lies Gaska, a village that belongs to Romania. Gaska is at a double enclave, a village in Romania, surrounded by Ukraine, inside a town in Moldova. This unusual situation came about after the 1990s, when the idea of Moldova and Romania reuniting has been debated since the 1990s. The result: you can be in 3 different countries within a short distance, without ever crossing a major border checkpoint. Bhutan is approximately 79 miles north of the capital Chisinau, but it holds a piece of Romania deep inside Ukrainian territory, a geopolitical puzzle like no other. What's the strangest geography fact in your country? Let us know in the comments. Did you know the smallest country in the world is actually inside a city? Vatican City is just under 0.49 square kilometers, which is approximately 12 acres, smaller than a large city block and home to about 800 to 900 people. It's completely surrounded by Rome, yet it's its own sovereign nation, with its own flag, postal service, and even passport stamps. And here's what really boggles the mind: you could walk from one end of Vatican City to the other in about 10 minutes. It's one of the countries in the world with no coastline, and no borders beyond the city of Rome. This tiny nation is packed with history, power, and more than a little mystery, all in just 12 acres. What's the most surprising geography fact about your country?